Back everybody to week 3 process modeling. Here we will start discussing steady state simulations of the lab model, the development of which has been discussed in the previous week. Steady state simulation of lab models will result in a set of algebraic equations which describe static relations between a set of variables. In order for us to be able to solve a problem in a unique way, then the number of equations should be equal to the number of variables for the model to be solved. There are two types of LAM models. The first one is the linear equation system. If we have a linear equation system, then it can be represented in the form of this: A multiplied by X equal U, or A in here is a matrix, X in here is basically a column vector, and then U in here is a matrix of a known value. Whereas for the nonlinear equation systems in here, it can be expressed in terms of the F1, F2, Fn, and then in simplified form it will be expressed as in terms of the f as a function of x equals 0. F in here representing a certain function. Then let's take a look into a matrix. So in here I use some sections from the Applied Numerical Methods book from Chapra in here, and I put a highlight on that on these slides. A matrix consists of a rectangular array of elements represented by single symbol, where A in here is the shorthand notation for the matrix, and Aij designates an individual element of the matrix. I in here represents the row, whereas J in here represents the column. A horizontal set of elements is called a row, and a vertical set is called a column. So the matrix in figure 8.3 in here, this matrix in here, has m rows. So from this we call it 1, and then until m rows, and n columns. So from this column, which we call column 1, until column n. So it has the dimensions of n multiplied by n. Okay, matrix with row dimension m equal 1 is defined as row vectors. On the other hand, matrix with the column dimensions n equal 1 is basically defined as a column vector. Matrix where they have a identical amount of a row and column is called a square matrix. Okay, then square matrices are particularly important because when you have a square matrix, it implies that you have the same amount of the equations with the same amount of the variables to be solved, so that a unique solution will be possible. Okay, you can look back into the previous slide on how to basically write or define these row vectors, and something like this. This one is called the row vectors, and then column vectors. Okay, and we have another matrix called a symmetric matrix, where the row equal the columns. So this one, for example, 1 is equal 1, then 2 equal 2, 7 equal 7. Okay, that one is what is defined as a symmetric matrix. Okay, and then 1 in here is equal, I think this one is just on the along the diagonal sections in here. So this one is 1, and then 2, 2, 7, and 7. A diagonal matrix is defined as a square matrix where all elements of the main diagonal are equal to 0. So as you can see, the elements in here is equal 0, 0, 0, and then 0. Note that when we omit the representations of element in a particular matrix, we assume that they are 0. An identity matrix is a diagonal matrix where all elements on the main diagonal is equal to 1. So as we can see in here, okay, the identity matrix has a property similar to unity. If you multiply A by identity matrix, or if you multiply an identity matrix by A, then it should be equal to A. An upper triangular matrix is one where all the elements below the main diagonals are 0. Okay, so we move into the next slides. Now a lower triangular matrix is the one where all elements above the main diagonals are 0. A banded matrix has all elements equal to 0 with the exception of a band centered on the main diagonal. So as you can see in here, only the one on the centered on the main diagonal, which is this diagonal in here, is not 0. Okay, this particular matrix has a bandwidth of 3 and it has a special name, the 3-diagonal matrix. Okay, after we go through the overview of different types of matrix now, we go a little bit into the matrix operating rules. Addition of two matrices is expressed by these expressions in here, where you basically adding the respective term in each matrix. Okay, subtraction also works similarly. Okay, and then both addition and subtraction, they have a commutative they have a commutative nature and associative nature as well. The multiplication of a matrix A by a scalar G is obtained by multiplying every element of A by G. So this is represented by these expressions in here. The product of two matrices, on the other hand, is different. Okay, so they have some rule in here where basically the interior dimension should be equal to make the multiplication possible. So in this case, for example, if we put our attention into this particular example in here, if you multiply, this one will be 3 multiplied by 2, and then this one 2 times 2. So the product should be 3 times 2. Okay, and then the first one, the one on the row 1 column 1, will be 3 multiplied by 5 plus 1 multiplied by 7. So the matrix multiplications in here, they have an associative nature and distributive nature. Okay, multiplication is not commutative, however. Okay, so the order of the matrix multiplication becomes important. And after multiplications, then we have another definitions of the matrix, which is called A. Then you put -1. Okay, that is called inverse of A. So if you multiply an A by its inverse, or you multiply the inverse of A by A, then you will get an identity matrix. Okay, the inverse of a 2 times 2 matrix can be represented simply by this expression in here. Okay, the formula for the higher dimensional matrices will be more complicated. Okay, then we have another operations called a transpose. When we transpose a matrix, meaning that we interchange the row into columns and columns into row. So for example, in here, when we transpose this particular matrix in here, then we are interchanging this with this, and then this one with this, and then this one with this. Okay, so in the other wall, element of Aij will be equal to AGI. Okay, and then if a column factor is being transposed, then it will be row factor, as is shown in here. Okay. We also have several different matrices, like a permutation matrix, which is an identity matrix with row and column interchange. So as you can see in here. Okay, and then if we multiply a matrix A by this matrix, permutative matrix, then we basically switch the corresponding rows. Okay. The final matrix manipulation that will have utility also is an augmented matrix. matrix is arithmetic by the addition of a column to the original matrix. Okay, this particular matrix in here shows that such augmented matrix. And then as we see on the next slide in here is basically a breakdown of these three set of equations into their matrix form. Okay, and then this one is basically showing a formal way to obtain the solutions using matrix algebra is by multiply each side of the equation by inverse of A to yield this. Okay, so if you want to get the value of x, then it will be the inverse of A multiplied by B. Matrix is commonly how to say that thing, a large amount of matrix. When it becomes complicated, then it can be processed easily using a MATLAB. MATLAB is also one of the main program that we will use in here, as it also form a major component of your project one as well. MATLAB is integrated technical computing environment that combines numeric computation, advanced graphic and visualization, and high-level programming language. MATLAB stands for Matrix Laboratory. Okay, MATLAB is quite important basically for many applications, and it basically offer a convenient computing environment for the solution of process simulation models. So throughout all our lecture notes, we will show you how to solve the particular problem and simulate it using MATLAB. Therefore, in here we give some overview into the examples of creating a matrix. So for example, a matrix of 3 times 3 can be created by this by putting this or writing this line into MATLAB, where the column in here indicates a change in terms of the row. Okay, so this one is the first row, this is in the second row, and then this one is the third row. Okay, on the other hand, the transpose can be simply given by putting an upper dash into A. Okay, then we can also create another 3 times 3 matrix by another equivalent way. Okay, first make X, Y, and then Z, and then followed by putting a semicolon in between them, and then A and B can be added, C can be subtracted from B can be subtracted from C. Okay, and then they can also be multiplied as well. Okay, there I can show you in another note of mine, basically. As you can see in here, A has a component of 3 times 3 and B 3 times 3, and then basically this will show the how since we have a 3 times 3, then we should have as a final component will be okay, I show you in here using red color, that will be a 3 times 3. So for the component of the in row 1 and column 1, that will come from these multiplications of 1 multiplied by 8 plus 5 multiplied by minus 5 plus 6 multiplied by 4. So that 1 multiplied by 8 will be 8, and then 5 multiplied by minus 5 will be minus 25, and then 6 multiplied by 4 will become 24. Then we will have this matrix in here, which should be the same as what you have in your slides. In here. Okay, I stop for this part 1 of the week 3. Then I will continue in the next video. Thank you for listening.